Like it's like it's all the simple stuff, man. Like if you breathe properly, like if you do some breath work stuff now and again, if you see your friends and connect with them, if you do a little bit of exercise, if you start eat, like it's all such simple stuff that you know, but we don't do because of little things in life that pull us in these different directions, and then you suddenly feel like and become a victim of your own circumstance, and it's an easy thing to do. Like I even when we're talking about my accident, like I definitely went into like a full victim stage where, and then people almost justify you being a victim because it's like, oh yeah, you deserve, you have every right to be angry or sad because look what the cards you were dealt. And I always tell people never give someone permission to feel shit. Because I'm like, why are you giving someone the permission to like, okay, you feel shit. You should feel shit. You should be angry at that person. I'm like, fuck giving someone permission to be angry at someone. Like that's so fucked up in my mind. It's like give someone permission to get over it, to forgive, no matter how bad that is. And don't forgive them for them. Forgive them for you. Like you're carrying that anger with you. You're holding on to that anger. It's like the best thing you can do if you really hate someone is forgive them and love them, because then that helps yourself. And like that's going to be more impactful on the person you hate anyone, because it's like then they've got to look inside themselves. I'm like, I did so much bad shit to this person and he's still being a good person to me. Like how fucked up am I? And that's going to hit them way harder than you if you throw back anger, especially when anger is expected. Like if someone's done something to you and you can almost smile through it and be like, well, I'm not going to be around you anymore. I'm going to separate myself, but I'm going to let this go because me holding on to this. Like I heard this thing, it's like envy, anger, deceit, and all these other things that you carry in your body. It's like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. They're never going to be affected by it. It's just going to affect you. And the sooner you realize that letting go of that stuff, it's like when we talked about before, like letting go of trauma in your body and anger and hate, it's like a weight's lifted, man. It's like you're taking off a backpack and you're like, why the fuck was I carrying that around? Life's so much easier without it.
Yeah.
You just got to let go of that stuff, because otherwise, like I said, you'll create like a cancer in your body, a tumor, or it's like an issue. Like hatred and anger and all these feelings, they turn into disease in your body and they literally kill you. And it's like so many times you hear of people that, and you'll see it, man. You see these angry people and they just look so weathered and old and just like they're holding on to stuff. I'm like, bro, let it go, man. And you hear of these stories in hospitals where people have like been diagnosed with like a terminal illness, and they almost release in that moment because they're like, well, I'm going to die. I'm just going to release this anger and hate. And you can do the research, but there's people and doctors that say like it's a miracle. Like literally you were about to die and now we've told you you're about to die and you've suddenly gone, oh, well, I'm just going to release all this anger and hate and well, it's all over. And then you heal yourself. Your body starts healing yourself. You can do that every day if you really want to. It's just you've got to put in the work and be self-aware enough to know when to hold on to stuff and when to let stuff go and what you're holding on to.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem as well, especially as like teenagers, like the people watching my podcast are like a younger target audience. I think the biggest thing is the judgment, especially when you're 11, like the judgment of what other people have on like your thoughts. And people don't understand with trauma, like everyone's trauma is different. Like my trauma is different to yours. Your trauma is different to someone else's. Like someone's trauma could literally be their spider dying, and that could be the worst thing that ever happened to them. But that's still a trauma. And people don't understand that. And it's like a competition to some people, which I don't understand. But people will have this sort of, and I think that's where you keep like telling yourself like, oh, I've got a good family. I've got, like, I feel like you're reassuring yourself because people don't think that what you went through was bad, but it was bad because that's what you went through.
It's my perception of what bad is at that time. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like if we could stop judging people just being sad and being suicidal and just like asking them the questions instead of being like, bro, that's nothing, dude. Like man up or toughen up. Like I understand like as a man, you should be tough in some certain like situations. Like at the end of the day, we should be grateful that we're not in a war right now. We're lucky in Australia as well that we don't go through that shit. But then it's like the little things, like if someone's suicidal, it's a whole different ball game to depression for sure. It's a whole different ball game to anxiety because it's literally someone's ending their life. And it's a lot deeper than anxiety and depression because the person's going to be gone forever and they could have lived such a better life because they're gone so early. And talking to Papas yesterday, how he said like his brother committed suicide. The saddest part was he just wanted to build a business with him, build relationships and show how good his mother is and all this sort of stuff. And it's like when people pass away, like that's it. And we only got one life. And yeah, death is just a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother topic, but yeah, suicidal and just when people actually die, it's just a whole different ball game, eh?
Yeah, you really, it gives you perspective, man. It gives you this, I think whenever you have a situation where your life's threatened or you lose someone, it's obviously it's so sad and we obviously don't want it to happen, but it kind of shines a light in your own mortality. Like every single one, it's like the biggest elephant in the room that everyone's going to die, but we don't talk about it. Even at funerals, we like hide a body. Like it's not talked about. We don't, even with grieving, like see someone die and everyone goes quiet and doesn't say anything. And it's this like almost taboo thing that happens.